Imagine a couple who have waited eagerly for years to have a baby, finally on the brink of expecting their first child. Little do they realize, a surprising twist is about to unfold, one that will shake their world to its core and rewrite their story forever. The story begins with a beautiful couple, Elena and Johnson, had been happily married for 15 years in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Their life together overflowed with love and joy, bonded by shared passions like music and favorite foods. Everyone thought they were made for each other, envying their closeness. However, beneath their perfect exterior, a deep longing remained. Elena and Johnson wished for a child to complete their family. Despite trying everything, they couldn't have a baby. This unfulfilled dream overshadowed their otherwise ideal life, leaving them with an ache that wouldn't go away. Despite this heartache, they found comfort in their surroundings. Living near a vast forest, they often explored among the trees, making friends with the wildlife. One notable group was a small pack of wolves, surprisingly gentle despite their fierce looks. Over time, these wolves grew close to Elena and Johnson. They started feeding them, creating a special bond between humans and animals. One day, after years of trying, Elena excitedly told Johnson that she was finally going to have a baby. Their perseverance had paid off, and they were overjoyed. They even shared the news with the wolves, who seemed to sense their happiness and joined in their excitement. When their daughter, Isabella, was born, the couple's happiness knew no bounds. As Isabella grew up, they introduced her to the wolves, keeping up their feeding routine. Despite the wolves' imposing size as they matured, they stayed gentle and playful with the family. The bond was so strong that Elena and Johnson felt safe letting little Isabella play near the wild animals, knowing the wolves would never harm her. Shortly after Isabella's 3rd birthday, tragedy struck their happy family. She fell terribly ill with a high fever, vomiting, and severe diarrhea. Alarmed by her worsening condition, Elena and Johnson rushed her to the hospital in Buenos Aires. However, the hospital's medical capabilities were limited, and Isabella was isolated in a private room, separated from her distraught parents, to prevent any potential worsening of her illness. Despite the doctor's best efforts, they struggled to identify the exact nature of her illness in time. Tragically, Isabella succumbed to her sickness, leaving her parents utterly devastated. The couple had endured years of difficulty in conceiving a child, and just when they had finally achieved their dream of parenthood, it was cruelly ripped away. Their grief was profound, and the loss began to strain their once strong marriage. They made the heartbreaking decision to bury Isabella near the forest, where they had shared so many joyful moments as a family. The entire town came together to pay their respects, mourning the sudden loss of a child who had brought so much joy to everyone around her. The funeral was a somber affair, filled with tears and heavy hearts. After the emotionally draining day, Elena and Johnson returned home to grieve in solitude. They sat together in silence, overwhelmed by their sorrow and struggling to comprehend the enormity of their loss. In the midst of their mourning, a sudden knock at the door shattered the quiet of their grief-stricken home. Townspeople had gathered to inform them of an astonishing and unsettling development. The wolves from the nearby forest were attempting to unearth Isabella's grave. Shocked and bewildered, Elena and Johnson rushed to the burial site. True to the townspeople's accounts, they found 3 wolves digging frantically at the freshly laid earth. As the couple approached, the wolves exhibited an uncharacteristic aggression, growling and baring their teeth in a display of protectiveness over the grave. The sight of these normally gentle creatures behaving in such a manner unnerved the grieving parents, who feared for the sanctity of their daughter's resting place. Despite their efforts to intervene and shoo the wolves away, the animals persisted with their urgent excavation. With each passing moment, the couple's anxiety grew more acute. Eventually, the wolves unearthed the coffin, revealing the stark reality of their tragic loss. Yet, just as hope seemed lost and despair threatened to overwhelm them completely, a faint cry emerged from within the coffin. Elena's eyes widened in disbelief, and Johnson's heart raced as he hastened to open the lid. What they discovered inside defied all logic and reason. Isabella, their beloved daughter, was alive and well, though visibly exhausted and weak from hours spent trapped in darkness. Tears of disbelief and overwhelming joy streamed down their faces. as they lifted Isabella from the confines of the coffin and held her tightly in their arms. The miraculous reunion sent shockwaves through the gathered crowd, who watched in stunned silence as the unimaginable unfolded before their eyes. Isabella's survival, against all odds, was attributed to a medical phenomenon known as temporary coma, which had mistakenly led the initial doctors to believe she had passed away. The subsequent misdiagnosis had plunged her family and the entire community into mourning, only to be shattered by the incredible truth of her miraculous survival. As Isabella was swiftly whisked back to the hospital for urgent medical attention, a wave of relief washed over Elena and Johnson. Their daughter's unexpected return from what they had believed to be her final resting place was nothing short of miraculous. In the days that followed, a thorough investigation revealed the grave errors that had led to the premature declaration of Isabella's death. Legal actions were pursued against the hospital for their negligence, though the true heroes of this extraordinary saga emerged in an unlikely form: the wolves. In the aftermath of such a miraculous ordeal, the bond between Elena, Johnson, Isabella, and the wolves deepened even further. Their shared experience of loss, despair, and ultimately miraculous redemption forged a bond that defied explanation. It was a testament to the extraordinary connections that can form between humans and animals, transcending language, logic, and even the boundaries of life and death. That's all for today. Now, it's your turn to share your thoughts about this story. What's the next story you'd like to know? Let us know in the comment section below. Be sure to subscribe so you won't miss any of these amazing videos on the wild earth.